Statistical analysis on your CASIO calculator. So for statistical, you go to mode and then you go to number 3 to do your statistical. Within this statistical option, there are many various functions or operations that you can do, but not all of them are necessary, and today I'm just going to go through some of the basics with you. So today we're going to start with number 1 with our statistical analysis, which is our mean standard deviation. So to find the mean and standard deviation of the numbers given here on the right, let us first enter the numbers in our calculator. So we do 5 equals to, I'll finish this up just a minute. So now I'm down to my last number, and to register that we do 10 equal. We've got our 10 digits. So to save it in the calculator memory, we press on, and that's all saved over there. So now to go into our statistical analysis, we go to shift and we press 1 to go into stats. And for stats, there are two features that are very handy in here. So the first one is the sum, and the second is variance. So if you want to find the sum of all these values, you can just simply press number 3, and you have two options: the sum of x squared or the sum of x. So if we press 1 over here, then you get sum of x squared. But if you press stats and you press 3, and then if you press 2, then you simply get the sum of x over here. Now let's go back again, and if you press shift and go to stats and press 4, then we can see the number, the average, the standard deviation, and the sample standard deviation. So if we press 1, it will give us the number of data that we've inputted, that is number 10. We can get the average for here. If we press 2, we can get the average of all the data entered, or we can get the standard deviation. Go to 4 again. If you press number 3, then you get the standard deviation of all the numbers in here. And the final one would be if you go to shift 1, then go to 4 and press 4, then you get the sample standard deviation. Now in our calculation, we only have the data in the value, but we don't have the number of time or the frequency of each value occurring. With our CASIO calculator, we can do a repetition of our calculated number frequency in our calculator. So to get the frequency also in our calculator, we need to do shift mode, come down here, and we've got the statistics for 4. So if you do 4 over there, then you have this option over here. You can have frequency on or off. So for this purpose, we're going to do statistic frequency on, and in that way we'll be able to do on. If you look at this side, I'm going to add another column over there. So after selecting the frequency on, we go into mode and select stats and select 1 for standard deviation and frequencies variance. So you can see that we got our data column and our frequency column. So we start inputting these values over here into our column, and the way we do it is we press the value and then press equal to. Press the value and equal to. Let me finish this up and I'll be right back. So here you can see I input all the number till the last digit. So now I need to move to the frequency table. So I go press the right arrow key and press the bottom arrow key to get to the top so that I can enter all the frequency. Let me just enter the frequency and I'll get back to you. So as you can see, I finished entering all the data in here till 6 and 5. So now we need to store this data into the calculator. We do that by pressing on. So after this, we can get back into our statistical analysis, we go to shift and we press standard. So we have these options. We can go to sum, variance, distribution, minimum, maximum. Let us go to 4, and we can, by these 4 options, we can get the number of value data that we have. This would be your sum of frequencies, so the total number of items in your data. So let us go back into our stats. Go here, shift, stats. So by pressing 4 again, you can get our mean, standard deviation, or sample standard deviation. So in this situation, if we press 4 here, we get the sample standard deviation. So we press equals to, which is 3.5, this value. Next, we are going to look at the regression analysis in stats. Say we have a new series of numbers here, and we want to find out the best fit of these numbers in a regression. So for this situation, we need to find A, B, and see what is the correlation between the two numbers in sequence over here. So this is pretty similar to what we've done before. So we go to mode, we go to 3 to select stat, and this time, instead of selecting 1 for determine the variance or standard deviation, we will select 2 for this equation a plus bx to find the regression between them. And we have to be careful that the variable for x is b. So now if we press 2, it will give us x, y, and frequency, and we can just input the values in these columns over here and put in the frequency. If we don't put the frequency in here, it will just put in a standard value, which would be 1. So I'm going to input these values in there, just like before, 5, and to input the value equal to, I'll finish this up and I'll be right back. So I finished putting in all the values for x and y. So now we're going to register this by pressing on. So all the values are stored in the calculator now. So now we go and press shift and stats, and if you look at the options over here, you have variance at 4 and regression at 5. So we're going to press 5 now. So for regression, if you look at our formula, it gives us these 5 options, and we're basically just going to look at A, B, or R. So A gives us A value, B, and R gives us the regressive value. So if we press 1, it gives us the value of A. Again, if we want to go back and figure out what other values were, we go back and press shift 1, and then again go back and press 5, and for B value press 2, which would be this one. And to determine the R, again shift shift 1, 5 for regression, and 3 for the R value, which would be this. So R is your correlation between the two numbers. So some of the other features present in this calculator are shift, stats, and if you select sum, it has many various options that you can work by. That makes life easier for you, I guess. So these are really very useful when you are in an exam type situation and they have any type of questions for you which you might answer. So that's it for today. Thank you.